Among the most well-known stars of the reality series Alaska: The Last Frontier are Atz Lee and Jane Kilcher. The program focuses on the off-grid lifestyle of the Kilcher family in Homer, Alaska. Millions of viewers have been fascinated by the Kilchers' survival abilities, unique family dynamic, and personal tales since the show's 2011 Discovery Channel takeoff. However, Atz Lee and Jane's marriage has been put to the limit by a number of difficulties and scandals that they have dealt with behind the scenes. The pair had to cope with a lot of drama and speculation, from their past divorces to their almost deadly accidents, from internet trolls to their alleged split. We shall examine Atz Lee's and Jane Kilcher's life from start to finish. We'll tell you the real story of their marriage and children. Additionally, we will disclose how they met and fell in love. Most importantly, are they still together or getting a divorce? Regardless matter how you feel about the performance, their tale will captivate and motivate you. Since they shared a residence in Homer, Jane and Atz first got to know one another as kids. However, they didn't begin a serious relationship until many later, when their shared love of music brought them back together. Prior to marrying the Kilcher family, Jane worked as a commercial fisherwoman, and Atz was a wandering singer who initially traveled the nation with his instrument before going back to the farm. 2006 saw the marriage of Atz Lee and Jane Kilcher in Homer, Alaska, near the top of the bay. Their close friends and relatives attended a tiny private ceremony. Despite not having any children of their own, they warmly accepted the offspring of their past marriages. Ian Kilcher was born in 2001. His parents are Atz Lee and Nantia Chrysantu, his ex-wife. In an effort to shield their kids from internet bullying and criticism, the parents made the decision to keep their kids as far away from the limelight as possible. Jane Kilcher and Atz Lee divorced after almost 16 years of marriage. The two of them resided on the large 600-acre farmhouse that had been owned for many centuries by the Kilcher family. They lived independent lifestyles of trade, farming, fishing, and hunting, and they constructed their own homemade on the property. They would perform it jointly or with other family members, since they were both music lovers. But in July 2023, Jane shared on her Facebook page that she was very disappointed by Atz Lee's choice to file for divorce. She withheld from him the reason for their breakup and the specifics of their settlement. Now let's go forward. No matter how terrible it is, I can't stop Atz Lee from divorcing me. It still hurts that my closest buddy is gone. But life goes on, I suppose? I'm not going to give up. On July 29, Jane took to Facebook to defend Atz Lee and her family, even though some believed that her black eyes could have contributed to their marital problems. She said that her black eye was caused by a television show rifle sight and pleaded that people leave her kids alone. This is not acceptable. I saw this black eye on TV after I was scoped. Nothing negative has to be said about Atz Lee and make space for my kids. My partner hasn't been on reality TV, therefore the accusations you people make against her aren't even true. Following this tragedy, a number of supporters hoped that Atz Lee and Jane Kilcher would work things out and give marriage another go. But it was false, since Jane had declared her single status and the termination of their divorce. Jane posted a photo on social media on November 1, 2023, with the message "single," expressing her readiness to move on. She has also joined Team Emily for another Discovery show called Bearing Sea Gold. Although she has experienced some body shaming and hatred online, she has answered with assurance and confidence. Atz Lee, on the other hand, has not spoken about their divorce or his present romantic situation. He still lives on the farm with his family and is a member of Alaska: The Last Frontier. Nantia Chrysantu was the ex-wife of Atz Lee Kilcher. When Nantia Chrysantu, an MBA graduate, traveled to Homer, Alaska in 1997 for business, she met Atz Lee Kilcher. On July 24, 1976, she was born in Colorado, USA, to Sanit and Carol Chrysantu. When she graduated at 16 from Choate Rosemary Hall, she went to the University of Alaska Anchorage, the Art Institute of Seattle, and Maryland University of Integrative Health. On May 12, 2001, Nantia Crisantou and Atz Lee Kilcher welcomed Etienne into the world. The couple tied the knot sometime in the late 1990s or early 2000s. They divorced a few years later, therefore their marriage was short-lived. Although the precise cause of their divorce is still unknown, some reports suggest that conflicting objectives and lifestyles were the cause. While Nantia Crisantou desired to be a homesteader and live off the land, Atz Lee Kilcher dreamed of a career in public administration. Nantia Crisantou hasn't been seen much since her split with Atz Lee Kilcher. She hasn't made any public appearances on media platforms or disclosed any details about her personal life. Her kid, her job, and Etienne Kilcher seem to be her top priorities. For the sake of their kid, she has also maintained a tight relationship with Atz Lee and Jane Kilcher. She doesn't bother them or get in the way of their relationship. Dacran Cassoni was the ex-husband of Jane Kilcher. Before she met Atz Lee Kilcher, Dacran Cassoni, an Alaskan native, was married to Jane Kilcher. Alaskan native Cassoni was born in Seldovia in May 1964. On June 4, 2003, Dacran and Jane welcomed their daughter Piper Isol Cassoni into their union. Unfortunately, their union did not last, and they were divorced not long after. Although the precise cause of their divorce is still unknown, several newspapers speculate that compatibility or personal problems may have been involved. Jane Kilcher never discussed her divorce from Dacran Cassoni in public or provided any information about their relationship. Dacran Cassoni, who separated from Jane Kilcher, has similarly maintained a low profile. He hasn't disclosed any information about his personal life or made an appearance on any media outlets. According to reports, his primary goals are his work and his daughter Piper Isol Cassoni. He has also kept up his connection with Atz Lee and Jane Kilcher in order to support their daughter. He doesn't bother them or get in the way of their marriage. Alaska fans of the Discovery series could be surprised by some shocking personal news that actress Jane Kilcher of The Last Frontier shared on Facebook. Now let's go forward. No matter how awful it is, I can't stop Atz Lee from divorcing me. It still aches that my closest buddy is gone, but life goes on, I suppose. I'm not going to give up. Those who have seen the Discovery series will find this quite astounding. Together, they worked really hard and survived bad weather, sickness, and other challenges. Among the most stable TV couples was Atz Lee and Jane. Jane Kilcher, who seemed at ease throughout the epidemic, has spent the most of the year living alone after COVID stopped. Emily Riedel was traveling with Jane on Bering Sea Gold at this time. Viewers got to witness two fan favorites together as the two closest friends enjoyed a great time together. Atz Lee joked on social media that he missed his wife. That was in late 2022, less than a year ago. That doesn't sound like a man who is going to file for divorce at all. However, it seemed that Jane and Atz Lee were separated for a big part of 2023. Jane eventually went back on social media to talk about how many fans she encounters while visiting other countries. But she did not disclose whether she was going with Atz Lee or on her own. Miv Kilcher never came up in conversation, and the only pictures of him that existed were from the farmhouse. That was strange, since they used to exchange a lot of pictures.